Hello, and welcome to Demo Day. I'm Shannon Farley.
And I'm Kevin Barenblatt. We're the co-founders of Fast Forward. Thank you so much for being here.
We started Fast Forward 11 years ago because we wanted more of our best tech applied to our biggest challenges. We wanted more Khan Academies, more Wikipedias. And I'm excited to share that it's working. One of the teams that pitched at this event last year hit a huge milestone today. $4, which helps low-income Americans access charity care, surpassed $50 million in medical debt relieved.
$4 is just one of 100 tech nonprofits that Fast Forward has accelerated. In aggregate, these organizations have impacted 186 million lives. And in the last year alone, Fast Forward has helped our alumni portfolio raise $50 million in follow-on funding. That's a big year.
It has been. It's a big year. Much of our year has been focused on AI. Over half the tech nonprofits you're about to meet are AI-powered nonprofits.
Ooh, maybe we should rename this Demo Day AI.
Oh my God. No.
Beyond the accelerator, we are investing in AI-powered nonprofits, hosting them in our office, advising them on product, and doing everything we can to ensure they don't miss this moment of innovation. The promise of AI is it's going to make everything better, except for maybe my dad jokes.
We can hope. Our new programs are great, but our alumni will tell you that it starts here with Demo Day. The array of brilliant innovators you're about to meet believe that not only is a better world possible, it is within reach, and they will make you believe it too. None of this would be possible without our partners. Thank you so much for believing in these teams and Fast Forward. Now please welcome Summer Kennedy.
I'm Summer Kennedy, and I lead programs at Fast Forward. I'm so thrilled for you to be here to meet the incredible innovators from the 2024 Accelerator cohort. I first met these teams 6 months ago. Back then, they were excited, they were determined, and they were still promptly responding to my emails. Today, we watched them take the Demo Day stage. This is our biggest cohort ever. 12 teams, AI-forward technology, proximate founders. They've built solutions tackling climate change, protecting democracy, and reimagining the systems that we live in. We've been on a journey for the last few months. The accelerator starts with a $25,000 grant, a group of strangers on Zoom, and a much lower caffeine tolerance. Along the way, they meet dozens of mentors, refine their products and business strategies, and form deep connections with each other and the alumni community. Now, they're in a WhatsApp group that I'm not invited to. They can each tolerate a venti cold brew, and they are ready to scale their impact. These are the rising stars of the social impact space. I know them. My therapist knows about them. It's time for you to meet them too. Let's do this thing.
When I was a kid, I fell in love with Iron Man as a character. And I loved how he used technology to solve different problems. And I thought, okay, cool, I can be Iron Man by studying computer science. So in high school, we were learning QBasic in our computer studies classes. But for some reason, I struggled with getting it down. I couldn't afford to give up because there was a lot invested in me coming into the US. Thankfully, I found ColorStack. I found resources that helped me out, or at least just knowing that other people were struggling gave me the courage to ask for help. I got my first internship at Intern Hacks through ColorStack. And then that led me to my current job that blends both my major and my minor, and I feel a lot more confident in this position. I work at Invesco as a tech strategist. I forget now that there was a time in my life that I wanted to change my major because it felt difficult at first. But ColorStack helped build that resilience in me that I didn't realize I had, to stick with something that was difficult and succeed regardless of the obstacles in my way.
Hi, I'm Jerron, and I'm the founder of ColorStack. We help... Thank you. Thank you. We help Black and Latinx computer science students launch tech careers. I studied computer science at Cornell, where I met my best friend, Rami. We both loved computer science, but he was struggling with his first few classes. By sophomore year, he told me he was dropping the major. So I helped him as much as I could. Homework, projects, and interview prep. I told him we were a team. There were many nights we wouldn't go to sleep until he was taken care of. With this support, Rami persisted. He stayed in the major. He secured internships at Fidelity and Adobe. He got a full-time job offer from Microsoft. Today, Rami's one of the strongest engineers I know. Black and Latinx computer science students are facing the same challenges Rami did. They are leaving the major before they realize their potential. Only 20% of CS grads are Black or Latinx, so across hundreds of schools, many are left isolated, with no community, no mentorship, and no motivation to persist. But the good news is, the solution isn't complex. I've talked to thousands of Black and Latinx computer science students. All they want is more confidence. All they need is the support that Rami received. And how do you scale one-on-one support? You bring it online. Enter ColorStack, a peer-to-peer support network for Black and Latinx computer science students. We started with the Slack workspace and virtual events. Students loved it. So last year, we built a membership platform called Oyster. It delivers community building, academic support, and career development tools at scale. We've grown to 10,000 members in just 4 years. Most of them come from schools that top tech companies don't visit. They've made lifelong friends, received academic and career support when they needed it most, secured jobs from companies that would have never visited their campuses. We even have members building features for the product itself. Membership with ColorStack is free for students. We partner with tech companies to diversify their talent pipelines and meet their CSR goals. Remember Rami from earlier? He's my head of engineering. Four years ago, we turned down job offers from top tech companies to pursue this mission because we knew we were uniquely positioned to solve this problem. We're asking for your help to secure $1 million in growth funding. This will help us expand our product's career development features and scale our open source program. While AI investment is accelerating, DEI investment is decelerating. Help us propel Black and Latinx technologists to the forefront of innovation. Thank you.
I used to go into work at a newsroom with dozens of journalists every day, so it tends to be more isolated than it used to be. Being a journalist today means you also have a variety of new ways to generate stories. One of those is looking to data to give you ideas for stories and being able to mine it. Before the IJF, we would have to go and search for certain types of data from different levels of government, federal and provincial. What the IJF has done is pull together all these different levels of data and put it in one place, and that makes it much easier for us to do our work. Well, if I think of democracy as the human body, I think that data is like the blood that runs through the human body. We can take it, we can analyze it, we can find out what's working, we can find out what's not working, and these are all clues that we can use to tell stories. IJF is a great example of how journalism is changing and how people are innovating.
My name is Zane, and I'm the founder of the Investigative Journalism Foundation. I've wanted to be a journalist since I was just 5 years old. Journalists reveal the truth. They challenge power. They get to talk to the coolest people. Sadly, journalism is dying all around the world. And that's not just bad news for 5-year-old me, it's bad news for democracy. In Canada, where I'm from, 500 media outlets have closed their doors in recent years. There's been a 36% drop in coverage of democratic institutions and civic affairs nationwide. Without journalism, it's harder to know what's real and what's fake. It's harder to trust our neighbors. We already see this happening. 44% of people worldwide do not trust basic institutions like government and nonprofits. But it doesn't have to be this way. The Investigative Journalism Foundation is already helping rebuild democracy and journalism in Canada, and with your support, we'll do so much more. We built Canada's first ever searchable databases showing who donates to politicians, who lobby them, and how governments spend taxpayer money. Think of us like ProPublica combined with Open Secrets. Our artificial intelligence and machine learning make it easy for anyone to answer questions like, who gives the most money to my elected representatives? Which lobbyists get the most meetings with senior politicians? Which companies get the most taxpayer money? Our goal is to give everyone access to a shared truth on the most important topics. We launched 1 year ago. I'm proud to say we have 240,000 users. We've gotten positive media coverage from places like Politico and Harvard University's Nieman Lab. And we've raised $4 million from visionary supporters like BlackBerry founder Jim Balsillie and Shopify early investor John Ruffalo. We have an incredible team of 28 of the best journalists and developers in Canada. They are hard at work, doubling the number of searchable databases we have this coming year. We're building one showing the stocks politicians trade in real time. We're building another showing the names of everyone appointed to be a judge or ambassador. It's very possible that come November, many of you will be seeking Canadian citizenship. Why not help us clean house before you get here? On a more serious note, democracy and journalism are in trouble all around the world. But our tech takes stories that used to take journalists months or even years and makes them possible in just minutes. We've proved our model works over the past year. Now we're looking for support from donors who share our vision of stronger democracy through public interest data and journalism. I hope you'll join us.
Vivo en una comunidad llamada Morales, que antes teníamos mucha necesidad. Ahora la plataforma OLAT satisfació nuestra necesidad en mi mente, que nos han brindado una buena oportunidad, unas buenas estrategias, una buena educación. Y gracias a la atención y a la ayuda que nos está dando OLAT, que cada uno de nosotros tenemos una profesión. Me encantan todas las clases de biología. Quise ser una gran nutricionista y eso es lo que me ayuda a motivarme a ser grande, a venir, a hacer que ese sueño sea hecho realidad, y sé que si me lo propongo, lo lograré.
Just like Surima, I grew up in the indigenous capital of Colombia, where only 5% of young people access formal jobs. Limited access, disengagement, and lack of job skills are leaving young people behind in my region and across the world. My grandmother was a teacher and a co-founder of a large public school. My father was a pioneer computer engineer. They taught me the skills needed to succeed in school and beyond. Inspired by their work, I created OLAP to help young people like Surima and myself thrive. Hi, I am Tania Rosas, the co-founder of the OLAP app. The O in OLAP stands for origin. Regardless of where young people come from, we ensure access to a modern education and job skills. OLAP creates skills-based learning through gamification. Think educational computer games. We create games for all subjects, but then we go further. Companies and schools want the same thing, for young people to develop the 21st century skills. So we connect them to make this happen. And this is how it works. We partner with companies like Bayer Pharmaceutical to develop a game. Corporate volunteers contribute to the curriculum. They teach the day-to-day of a job. Students aren't just playing games. They're actually creating real-life solutions and gaining exposure to potential employers. And this is just one example. We have built games about logistics with DHL, or engineering with NG Energy, among others from any type of industries. OLAP can be used offline in low-tech devices and is adaptable to different languages, even indigenous tongues. OLAP increases learning engagement by up to 80%. And our platform is so good at job training that even our corporate partners use it for their own employee onboarding. This gives us a natural and revenue model. Thank you. We are 3 founders with experience in education, tech, and 3D design, honored by the United Nations, MIT, Obama Foundation, among others. The first year launching OLAP outside my country, we reached over 10,000 youths. With AI, now OLAP provides personalized learning at a global scale. So we now need your help to change the life of over 100,000 young people across the Americas. We can do that at only $10 a student. So join us in empowering the next generation workforce. Together, we can leave no one behind. Thank you.
When I had Marissa, it was like the best feeling and the worst feeling all at the same time. The birthing part was not so fun, but once she was born, that all went away. And it's just like light came into the world in my life for the first time. So when I had my 3rd child, and I suffered from postpartum depression, it was different than any depression I've ever felt before. I cried so much, and I'm not really a crier, and I hate the vulnerable feeling, but I cried all the time. For me, Our Roots was a lifesaver and a lifeline that helped me through a time when I felt like I had no one or nothing. To have someone support me who I felt I could connect with on a personal and cultural level was everything. Ever since Our Roots, I'm able to be there for my kids and enjoy them and be the mother that they deserve.
Like Angel, I struggled postpartum during the pandemic. It was 5 a.m. My son had been up for 4 hours crying. This had been going on for weeks. I first became alarmed by my thoughts, and then I was ashamed. You see, as the daughter of immigrants, I had been told my whole life that mental health support was for them, not us. I pushed through. Later, I told other birthing parents around me and learned that so many others had been through something similar alone. I'm Priya Iyer. I am the mother of 2. I am the founder of Our Roots. Communities of color are twice as likely to experience mental health challenges during the perinatal period. And what we're not talking about is that mental health is the #1 contributor to maternal death in the US. After my pregnancy, I became a peer coach. Peer coaching fills gaps in the healthcare system. The research proves that it works. Right now, the space is saturated with products that are built by and for wealthy white women. I set out to build something that centers the 3 million birthing parents and babies every year that are ignored. This is our roots. We are a tech platform that offers peer coaching for perinatal, low-income communities of color. Birthing parents are matched with a peer coach. They log onto our platform every week and meet one-to-one. Peer coaches screen for anxiety and depression, they set goals, and they tailor resources. We meet people where they are, their smartphones. Our service is completely free. There are no wait lists. Our peer coaches are equitably paid, they're trained, they share lived experiences. We've piloted in 2 community health centers in Oakland. We've shown that we can drop depression and anxiety scores by 70%. Mamas like Angel no longer have to withstand going a year or even longer without any support. We're fueled by our philanthropic partners. We earn ongoing revenue through Medicaid. Navy SEALs are taught to withstand torture through sleep deprivation and listening to crying babies. Our team has lived through the same. We also bring a wealth of expertise. With AI, we'll scale to 10,000 birthing parents by 2026. Features include peer coach training, chatbot support between human check-ins, and tailoring resources. We're raising $600,000 to do this. Together, we can support our communities through the snuggles and the struggles. Thank you.
मी साधारण एक 10 वर्षापासून शेती करत आहे. पावसावरची अवलंबून शेती ना, शेतीत पिकत नाही. पाऊस कमी असल्यामुळं परवडत नव्हती. नंतर आता ह्या साहेबांनी त्यांनी या फळबागेचे आणि मग आम्ही सगळ्यांनी मिळून निश्चय केला की फळबागच उत्तम आहे सगळ्यात. कारण असे हे ज्वारी, मका, कांदा यांच्यापेक्षा ही फळबागच उत्पन्न चांगलं आहे पुढे भविष्यात. तर मग त्यांनी हे काय सुरुवातीला अशी ठिबक दिली, झाडं दिले, बांबू दिले. 1-2 वर्षांनी फळं यायला लागल्यावर मग उत्पन्न वाढलं त्याचं. त्याच्यामुळेच मग आम्ही हा निर्णय पक्का केला. तर काही दिवसांनी झाडांचे जसजसे मोठे होते तसतसं पर्यावरणाचं संतुलन बी ठीक राहील आणि झाडांपासून उत्पन्न बी मिळेल चांगलं. पुढं मुलांच्या शिक्षणाला बी हातभार लागेल आणि पुढं मुलं पण शेती व्यवसायाकडे वळतील.
Hi, my name is Aarti, and I'm a co-founder at Farmers for Forests. You just met Bittal, one of our program participants. Today, there are millions of Bittals experiencing the impacts of climate change. Rising temperatures and depleting groundwater has made smallholder farming in India nearly impossible. Land should be one of the most valuable assets a rural Indian possesses. Today, it has become a wasted resource for many. An estimated 30% of India's land is now considered degraded. The environmental crisis is not only affecting our planet, it is driving farmers into deep poverty. Restoration is the obvious next step. biodiverse agroforestry restores degraded land. It improves soil health and resiliency against extreme weather events. It requires significantly less fertilizer and water. But farmers often don't have the money or know-how to do this. This is where Farmers for Forests comes in. First, we identify farmers with abandoned or degraded land. We provide them training and inputs like saplings and compost to convert this land into an agroforest. Using our technology, we then begin to continually track the survival rates of all trees post-plantation. We then sell the carbon sequestered by the trees as a carbon offset and reinvest the carbon revenue back into supporting more farmers. With us, farmers get two new streams of income: immediate income from the forest harvest and future incomes from the carbon markets. But here's the thing. Planting trees and shrubs is the easiest step. Ensuring that they survive long enough to become a thriving ecosystem that provides environmental and financial benefits, that's the challenge. We need accurate, reliable, real-time data. Satellite data and on-ground manual monitoring of trees are the two available options. However, trees don't show up in even high-resolution satellite data until they're about 5 years old, which means projects around the world resort to a lot of on-ground manual monitoring. That's neither practical nor scalable. Using multispectral drone technology and AI, Farmers for Forests can remotely track the survival rates of each tree in our forest. We can also remotely measure the height and width of trees, allowing us to accurately quantify how much carbon our forests are sequestering. So no more guesstimates. We are doing this at 95% accuracy rates, and at 1/10 the cost of satellite data. Our technology allows us to maintain unprecedented accountability towards our partners like Meta, Accenture, state governments, and the World Economic Forum. We are raising $2 million to deploy our open source measurement platform at scale and turbocharge high quality and measurable land restoration work in India and beyond. Ecology and economy don't have to be in conflict with each other. Vitthal and the 22,000 other farmers in our program are a testament to that. We can nurture our soil, our family, and our planet. Thank you.
I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I began teaching in 2018. My students are extremely curious, they're optimistic, they're brave, they're always interested in not only the past, but like how they could make change in the future. And so I really enjoy teaching here. Play Lab is one of the easier AI tools to use in the realm right now. Play Lab has made my teaching easier than what it was before. So my 6th graders, they use Play Lab as a Cornell Notes tutor, in which they upload the reading that I've assigned, and it will go through the reading and basically guide them on taking strong notes for that reading. But then on the flip side, I also have 8th graders, and I've basically been teaching them how to generate their own prompt engineering tools. And so they've been creating their own Play Lab tools that they've been using to not only help themselves, but honestly help the community. I think that getting in the forefront of it now as educators, as parents, as students, we're able to then navigate the world of AI easier and faster.
I'm Yusuf from PlayLab. Our software powers a community of educators building AI tools for themselves and each other. Libraries are a public good. So is the internet. We think that AI should be a public good as well. Today, it's not. It's controlled by a few companies, and it's out of the reach of most educators. People like Fatima. Every day, Fatima meets the needs of 150 different kids, each with their own dreams and personalities. There are millions of educators like her around the world. They have ideas for how to improve teaching and learning, and they'd like to use AI, but they're concerned about risks and bias and about being dependent on others who just don't get their context or their needs. Our team knows there's a better way. Ian, my co-founder, has been building AI products for years. His last company was funded by Google's AI fund and acquired a year and a half ago. I've built products like Scratch that have empowered millions of educators and kids to bring their ideas to life using software. Together, we asked, how might we democratize who gets to create with AI? That's why we're building PlayLab. Using PlayLab, educators can create AI apps on the latest AI models. They can also use apps from our global community, all without needing to code. Along the way, they build their understanding of AI, and they bring their ideas to life across hundreds of school systems around the world and with thousands of students. Students can also create in our safe sandbox. So what does this look like? Monica's a principal in Chicago. She coaches her teachers in designing better, more rigorous hands-on science activities. That's not easy, which is why she's looked for resources to help. But until now, nothing was tailored enough to her context. Using PlayLab, she built an AI coach that's tailored to her curriculum, her values, and her standards. It's built on the latest AI models, and it's easily shareable with her teachers, who now use it regularly to improve teaching and learning and to hone their craft as teachers. Monica's tool is just one of over 10,000 AI apps that educators around the world have built. We also partner with public school systems as large as New York City public schools and systems in the global south, like Brazil, South Africa, and India, to support responsible adoption of AI in education. Our work with nonprofits helps them leverage their expertise with the power of AI to better serve their communities and reimagine public education. How do we know this is working? We work with researchers at places like MIT, Stanford, and Columbia to cut through the hype and try to see what's actually advancing teaching and learning. We also work with them to advance responsible open source AI. There's a small window to build public infrastructure for AI in education. Infrastructure that's democratic, that's accessible, and enables those closest to kids to be in the driver's seat for how this stuff is adopted in education. Help us build that democratic future together. Thank you.
Soy de Venezuela, llegué hace 2 años, me encuentro viviendo acá en Nueva York. La experiencia de un inmigrante cuando está reciente en el país es dura. Aún no haber comenzado a trabajar, la familia lejos, la situación emocional de nosotros está por el suelo. En mi caso, si yo falto a una audiencia, puedo tener una orden de deportación automáticamente por el simple hecho de haber faltado. Justicia Lab es una organización que ayuda a los emigrantes. A través de ellos podemos conseguir información actualizada de lo que está pasando con los trámites migratorios, cómo podemos hacer para ingresar nuestro asilo cuando estamos llegando recientes. Utilizar herramientas como inteligencia artificial nos ha ayudado mucho porque los cuales nosotros con hacer una simple pregunta, Justicia Lab se encarga de orientarnos a nosotros y de darnos todas aquellas informaciones actualizadas.
Hi, I'm Rodrigo Camarena, and I'm the founder of Justicia Lab, a legal tech incubator for immigrant justice. I'm a proud immigrant from Mexico. And I'm also an economist and immigrant advocate who has been fighting for immigrant justice for nearly 2 decades. Our immigration system is broken by design. You see, we've created a system that only legal experts can navigate. But attorneys are expensive, and the free ones, they're overwhelmed. On average, for every 1 legal aid worker, there are 1,400 immigrants that need help. Immigrants are navigating our system alone, and they're doing that while carrying the stress and trauma of international migration. Our paper-based process involves arcane court procedures, English-first communication, and complicated government forms. Forms like the Notice to Appear, or NTA. This form is given to immigrants by the government when they believe that they've arrived here unlawfully. It's given to people who don't speak English, might not be able to read or write, or are under the age of 18. And yet, correctly responding to the contents of this letter can mean the difference between attaining status or being scheduled for deportation. You used to need a legal expert's guidance to help respond to an NTA. Now, you just need a smartphone. Introducing, yeah, give it a house. Introducing Empath AI, an AI-powered multilingual immigration assistant for asylum seekers and new arrivals. Using AI, expert systems, and vetted legal content, Empath AI is able to help a migrant navigate a task like responding to a Notice to Appear. Here's how it works. A migrant opens their web app. They then answer a series of questions or take a picture of a complicated government form like the Notice to Appear. Using all of this information, Empath AI provides a customized checklist with next steps in the migrant's native language, as well as push notifications to remind them of key deadlines and next steps. And it provides all this information in bite-sized portions using best practices in behavioral science and with the emotional well-being of the migrant in mind. Thank you. Empath AI's alpha has already helped over 150,000 immigrants. And in partnership with Google.org, we're now leveraging the latest advances in Gen AI to bring expert guidance to every immigrant that needs it. After piloting our solution in New York and Texas, our aim is to bring Empath AI to every immigrant nationwide. Our team includes experienced immigration attorneys and civic technologists, and we've built partnerships with leading immigrant advocacy groups like the International Rescue Committee and Stanford's Immigration Policy Lab. We're raising $500,000 to fuel our Gen AI innovation work and dramatically democratize access to justice for millions of immigrants around this country. Our aim is to make sure that no migrant ever has to navigate our system alone, and that every single asylum seeker can find the safety and support that they need and deserve. Thank you.
दिल्ली में पैदा हुआ, पला बड़ा और अभी भी पुरानी दिल्ली में रहता हूँ। जब मैं टीनेज था, मुझको अपहरण किया गया, 7 दिन रखा गया, टॉर्चर किया गया। बहुत गंभीर आरोपों के अंदर दिल्ली और दिल्ली एनसीआर में जो 1996-97 में ब्लास्ट हुए थे, उन केसों में मुझको डाल दिया गया। न्याय को जल्दी हासिल करना ये एक भारतीय का मौलिक अधिकार है। मुझको मेरे केस में मुझको जेल से बाहर आने में और आखिरी केस के फैसला होने में लगभग 14 साल का अरसा। भारत के कई राज्य दूर दराज के ऐसे हैं जहाँ पर स्टेनोग्राफी ही नहीं है। जज साहब को ही खुद अपने हाथ से लिखना पड़ता है, तो इसमें बहुत समय लगता है। जज साहब भी इंसान हैं, मानसिक तौर से वो भी थक जाते हैं। अदालत एआई के जो सॉफ्टवेयर है ट्रांसक्रिप्शन का, वो अदालतों में लागू होगा तो उसमें अदालत की सुनवाई में और इंसाफ पाने में लोगों में बहुत आसानी हो जाएगी।
अगर ये सक्सेस हो, समझता हूँ ये अदालत की दुनिया को बदलने के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण काम।
Hi, my name is Utkarsh, and I'm the founder of Adalat AI. And we stand on the premise that the judicial process should be a pathway to justice and not a punishment in itself. Yet for countless Indians like Amir, who you just met, justice is excruciatingly slow and effectively denied. I saw this firsthand from multiple vantage points as an attorney in courts where I've been practicing for over a decade in India. I saw this from the judge's perspective when I was a law clerk with the Supreme Court Justice. And more recently, I experienced this from the client's perspective, the litigant's perspective, when my partner and I, as a couple, petitioned the Indian Supreme Court trying to legalize same-sex marriage in India. Unfortunately, in the last case, we were unsuccessful, but went back and got engaged outside the court to say that we'll keep fighting for marriage equality. But in each of these cases, you actually quite quickly realize that as judges and lawyers, you're quite limited in your impact at the front end of the legal system when its back end is completely broken. Imagine a court system so bogged down that it takes over a decade for a case to be resolved by the current system, and estimates show that at our current capacity, it's going to take us 300 years to clear this backlog. And as with any broken justice system, this disproportionately hurts the poorest and the most vulnerable populations who I've seen languish in prisons simply waiting for a court date. Now, this is a complex, multidimensional problem, but one big binding constraint is the acute shortage of skilled stenographers. Because you see, in a courtroom, nearly every word has to be written down, from oral arguments to cross-examinations to the final orders and judgments. In the big cities where I practiced, stenographers were slow and held the court proceedings up and couldn't type in real time. Then I went outside the big cities and realized there were no stenographers. So judges were actually writing everything by hand, painstakingly, meticulously, which not only slowed them down, but compromised on their ability to do justice. And justice deserves better. We deserve better. Enter Adalat AI, a legal tech nonprofit that's building AI solutions for justice systems to end judicial delays and improve access to justice. And we are starting with our speech-to-text transcription software to address stenographic delays so that they're trained extensively on legal data and understand that complex jargon we use so much in court. And they're designed in partnership with the judges and stenographers so that the design is not for the end users, but built with the end users. Our solution comes in 22 different languages that understands our dialects, our pronunciations that generic models fail to understand, so that we ensure nothing gets lost in transcription. And our results are already speaking volumes. Pilot courts that are using our technology are able to cut down case resolution times by almost 30 to 50%, depending on the case stage and type, and we're already partnering with 5 Indian states to scale this across the country. And if it's possible in India, it should be possible in many other parts of the world, thanks to colonialism. We all have the same legal systems, very similar legal lingo and legal jargon, and already have interest from Nigeria, Kenya, and Bangladesh so that we can be a global solution for the global south. And I'm very excited about our team that's doing this. I studied law at Harvard Law School, development economics at Harvard, Oxford, and MIT. I've worked at the courts with the governments, the World Bank, and the Boston Consulting Group. Our CTO and co-founder is a triple IT engineer with extensive AI and ML experience, and we're bringing this interdisciplinary experience to solve this complex multidimensional problem. We're raising $1 million so that we can double the size of our tech team, double our geographic footprint, and go from 5 to 10 states where 100 million people are languishing and waiting for justice. When I was a lawyer in courts, getting a bail in one courtroom or arguing for civil rights in another courtroom felt like individualistic successes. But now we're on the cusp of unleashing hundreds of thousands of bails and civil rights cases at the systemic level by simply converting words into justice, and we really hope you'll join us. Thank you very much.
The day of Dobbs was a really difficult day. We completely lost access to abortion care in Texas. The clinic that I worked at was open 6 days a week. We saw upwards of like 60 patients a day, and we were just one of 5 clinics in Houston. How are that many people going to get the money, get the time off, get the resources they need to get care out of state? They're not all going to, and that's heavy and that's painful to sit in. I discovered inequity.com when I was looking for ways to find resources that I could easily give to my patients that wasn't going to feel really, really overwhelming for them. And it was really a lot of what I was looking for, as far as like, we need an accurate directory, an accurate list of who are all of the abortion clinics that are still open and what services can they specifically provide. Which abortion funds are working with these clinics? It makes a lot of this patient navigation knowledge that we are holding as professionals accessible to anyone who needs it and wants it.
My name is Rebecca Null. I'm the CEO of inequity. We design and build tools that help people get abortions. A few weeks before my 25th birthday, I met a really great guy at a trivia night in Austin, Texas. A few weeks later, I was pregnant. I knew I needed an abortion, but my regular doctor said they couldn't help. So I Googled it. The results were a mess. They were filled with fragmented, fake, and out-of-date information. It took me days to piece together my options. I had to wait 2 miserable weeks for my appointment. More than 1 million abortions happen every year. I couldn't believe something so common was so hard to figure out. I'm a designer and engineer, so with that same guy from trivia, I started building what I wished I'd had at inequityabortion.com, also known as inequity. On inequity, users can anonymously find everything they need to know, personalized by location and how long they've been pregnant. For someone in Texas like I was, we show them they still have options. They can travel to a clinic out of state. They can order safe and effective pills online. We help them understand the differences and compare things like costs. If they're worried about how they'll be able to afford it, we connect them with local support organizations that can help. We also have hundreds of stories. So no matter what someone is feeling, we can show them they're not alone. More than 1 million people have come to inequity to learn about their options. We've also built critical infrastructure that powers more than the website. Folks like Lakia are able to help more people thanks to our tools. Academics and journalists license our provider data for research and reporting. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, we were where people went for accurate information. We've remained up to date as laws have continued to change. With philanthropic support, we left our tech jobs to meet that demand. It's been a rough couple of years for abortion access. The costs and confusion in every state have never been higher, and the system is at the breaking point. inequity is building sustainable solutions when they're needed most. We're raising $1 million to continue to scale and build new features that optimize travel, streamline funding, and connect legal aid all in one beautiful user experience. Abortions are life-saving healthcare. Mine enabled my career, marrying that guy from trivia, and becoming a mom when I was ready. Laws can change. The need does not. Together, we can make sure everyone gets the care they want, need, and deserve. Thank you.
Every single day, we're helping our students manage their emotions, and a lot of people have given up already on them. When a student breaks code of conduct at their school, they end up having a referral to our school. Some may be referred for a physical fight, maybe there was some type of bullying. So there's a different range of reasons why a student may come to us. Pre-Lenny learning, I would take hours to surf the web to create lessons to help support my students. Being able to have Lenny learning was really a support because it cut down on prep time and it will really meet the needs of what I'm requiring in my class. It has made me be more present in my classroom with my students. I notice that the kids are more engaged since I've started doing Lenny learning. From like the buy-in for the students wanting to be in the lesson, to the language, to being able to develop the skills. They're taking more accountability, they're getting more involved, they're checking in with each other. To be able to have the language and the skills is making a ripple effect of change in our school community.
I'm Ting, and at Lenny Learning, we empower teachers like Samantha to change student lives. I'm the daughter of immigrants who avoid saying mental health at all costs. Meanwhile, my brother is living with mental illness. In high school, he turned to drugs to cope. I watched his life fall apart. His education, health, relationships, everything. Today, more students like my brother are struggling. And teachers are on the front lines of this mental health crisis. However, 9 in 10 teachers don't feel equipped to address student mental health. On average, there's just one counselor for 385 students, if at all. With AI, it is now possible to expand behavioral health support for every school. Meet Lenny. Lenny combines brain health research, clinically vetted content, and the most advanced AI models so we can provide behavioral health support at scale. My co-founder and I are both Yale-educated engineers. We work with clinicians from top research institutions, including Harvard and Yale. Here's how it works. Our student surveys unveil behavioral health needs. This data allows schools to uncover health challenges they actually need to address. Teachers and counselors generate custom lessons and interventions by chatting with Lenny. Simply describe your class, the time you have, and any behavioral health challenge, like social media addiction, for instance. And Lenny will use the latest research and vetted content to create custom lessons, complete with activities and worksheets, ready for immediate use. Lenny saves teachers up to 5 hours of work every week. And Lenny empowers teachers to both assess and address behavioral health. We've secured paid school contracts to serve over 75,000 youth this year. And we've been doubling our reach every semester. Behavioral health specialists cost schools over $50,000 a year. Most schools can't afford that. Lenny costs just $5,000. We believe every school deserves a behavioral health specialist, and donations make this possible. This is where you can help. Lenny Learning is raising $3 million to provide behavioral health support to over 500,000 youth in the next 2 years. My brother never received the school support he needed. But with Lenny, we can rewrite this story for millions of kids. Thank you.
Some challenges I faced while going through the college process were I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was just answering these questions, writing these essays, but didn't know if it was what the colleges were looking for. Uprooted Academy is basically like a virtual counselor where I found help that I wasn't getting from my counselors at school. Having Uprooted Academy to help me with my essays and what I should write about and what they're looking for really helped a lot. Some resources on Uprooted Academy that have helped me are the virtual counselor and the AI who is there to answer questions right when I need them. Also the wellness tab where I can get help when I'm stressing out and when I don't know what to do. It always being there is really helpful. Because of Uprooted Academy, I have gotten so many acceptances from the schools that I have really wanted to go to. In the future, I hope to be a medical sonographer or an ultrasound tech. I hope to get a bachelor's in science and public health.
Hi, I'm Tiffany, the founder of Uprooted Academy. I grew up 1 mile from Yale University. Seeing the students inspired me. And at age 6, I determined I would be the first in my family to go to college, in a top school like Yale. I studied hard, I took top courses, I got a near perfect score on my SAT. However, I only applied to 1 college. I only met with my college counselor twice. That college that I applied to, it wasn't Yale, even though I had the grades to be competitive. The entire process was overwhelming and confusing. I had my first anxiety attack during that period. And according to data, many of you did too. Nationally, high school students on average spend 45 minutes with a college counselor. Schools cannot close the college and career gap. They don't have capacity. Community centers were built to fill in this gap, but high schoolers, they're being left out. The system is broken, and broken systems, they can break students. After college, I became a licensed therapist. I worked in schools for over a decade, and funny enough, I was invited to be an application reader at Yale. I realized when students are designing their dreams, there needs to be a new solution, a holistic one. Introducing Uprooted Academy. It's like the Boys and Girls Club, meet Sims. We use generative AI to give students a holistic guidance counselor. It's a dog named Rudy. And Rudy is trained in all things college, careers, and wellness. When students are lost on what to do, They can utilize their personalized roadmap to get them back on track. Our students complete modules around college, career, and financial literacy designed by experts in the field. We connect them with admissions counselors, and they can network with companies and gain mentorship from employees. I was alone and anxious on this journey. Uprooted ensures that students have the connections that they need. And when it becomes too much, Rudy guides them to our wellness lounge. And in there, they can do yoga, breath work, and mindfulness. And it's transforming lives. We've reached 10,000 students to date. Students, on average, spend around 2 hours per month in our platform, contributing to around 45 hours before high school graduation. And our students are reporting lower levels of anxiety. And now they're thriving at Ivy Leagues, HBCUs, and other dream colleges. My team and I are working with the Stanford D School and School of Education to build a tool I needed. And now we're raising $500,000 to finish building our virtual community center, the very first of its kind. We aim to upgrade our AI, offer skill-based courses, and connect students to early internships. I realized it wasn't a lack of my intellect that kept me out of Yale. It was a lack of support, because access without support is not opportunity. Thank you.
There's been a lot of challenges I've had to face as someone coming home from incarceration. Now further along and further away from incarceration, being able to vote is a big thing. So when I got on the expungement journey, I got really excited thinking that I would be able to vote. We started the process, and in fact, I did have fees, fines, and some outstanding interest. Free Our Vote is an organization that has vowed to help those second chance citizens get their vote restored. Free Our Vote was able to call and get my fines and fees taken care of and moved a mountain that I really just felt like I didn't have the energy or the funds and things to move. For those of us second chance citizens that are actually able to vote now, I feel like that my vote will help those coming behind me dealing with incarceration.
Hi, my name is Neil Sukatme, and I'm co-founder of Free Our Vote. You just met Latanya. She's one of 5 million returning citizens who could vote but don't know that they can. The problem lies in state voting laws. Many were passed during Jim Crow and segregation. Most require payback of fines and fees incurred at conviction. Determining who's eligible to vote requires parsing through mounds of disjointed court records and financial statements. For returning citizens, that's nearly impossible. We're missing out on millions of voices in our democracy. Far too often, these are black and brown voters. That appalled me. So I did something about it. I'm a computer engineer and a PhD economist. I'm also a professor and the Associate Dean of Georgetown Law. I asked, what if we build new data sets to help returning citizens determine if they can vote? With my PhD students, I launched Free Our Vote as a nonpartisan tech nonprofit. We piloted our product in Florida in 2020. Florida disenfranchises anyone who owes any outstanding court debt stemming from a felony conviction. Often this is a tiny amount, like $10. But the state doesn't tell people how much they owe, so they're left guessing whether they can vote. And if they do vote and get it wrong, they might be charged with a new felony. So how do we solve this problem? By collecting data, conducting outreach, and measuring impact. First, we coded dozens of bespoke web crawlers using Python and R. We used AI and fuzzy matching to assemble records for over 500,000 potentially eligible voters. Next, we worked with nonprofit partners like the Campaign Legal Center to reach out to newly eligible voters. We negotiated with clerks of court to reduce amounts owed, and we paid off court debt for nearly 2,000 people. Free Our Vote increased voter turnout by up to 26%. That's 1,700 new voices in our democracy. We documented our causal impact in a research publication, and we were featured by the Wall Street Journal and ProPublica, among others. We're a team of lawyers, economists, and data scientists trained at Princeton, Harvard, and Georgetown, and we're backed by a talented pool of academic researchers. Free Our Vote has already re-enfranchised thousands, but millions more remain in states such as Arizona, Georgia, Kansas, and Pennsylvania. There's still time, but if we don't act soon, they will miss the upcoming presidential election. Every $40 re-enfranchises at least one returning citizen like Latanya. $4 million by July 31st would re-enfranchise 100,000 new voters this year. That money would pay off court debt and cover outreach. This isn't conjecture, it's just math. We already know who these returning citizens are. They deserve to have their voices heard. And with your help, they will vote this fall. Join us and help us save democracy for all Americans. Thank you.
Weren't those pitches amazing? We are so proud of how hard these entrepreneurs have worked, and they absolutely crushed it. And we are so grateful to all of you for tuning in and showing up to share your support for the 2024 cohort. I'm Anna Pickren, VP of Partnerships at Fast Forward, and you know why they put me up here to close out Demo Day. It's to ask y'all for money. No. All jokes aside, Demo Day is about celebrating, launching, and supporting these teams, and there are so many ways all of you can do that. You can spread the word about their organizations and the impact they're having. You can offer to make introductions to your friends, your colleagues, your employers, your networks to help move their missions forward. You also can donate if you feel so compelled. There's a QR code up on the screen where you can easily scan that to donate. We'll also drop a link in the chat. And I, of course, want to take a moment to thank our amazing Startup Accelerator partners, without whom this work would not be possible. It's such an honor to get to do this work alongside you, and we are truly so grateful for your support. I also want to take a minute to thank the incredible Fast Forward team who has worked tirelessly over the last several months to bring the Startup Accelerator to life and to make Demo Day a success. And with that, cheers to the 2024 cohort, and thank you so much for joining for Demo Day. Take care.